This is the Gambia, a small country located in the western part of Africa. Every day, old white women from Europe and America fly to this country, and their mission to this country will shock you. These older women come to the Gambia for cheap sex. There are several countries around the world that are sex tourism destinations, but in Africa, the Gambia is the ultimate sex tourism destination. The country is often known as a country of 3S: sun, sand, and sex. Many even argue that the whole economy of the country is built on sex tourism, which is simply ridiculous and very much untrue. The principal contributor to the country's economy is agriculture and services. Despite the Gambian government trying to promote their country as a destination for nature tourism and sustainable tourism, the Gambia continues to be known for its sex tourism. One of the most well-known areas for sex tourism in the Gambia is the Senegambia Strip, the coastal area around Kololi, where holidaymakers and local men, known as bumsters, come together in the kind of relationship that the Gambia is infamous for. Clearly, sex tourism contributes little or nothing to the Gambian economy, but one thing we can't ignore is that it is becoming a booming industry, and a lot of young Gambian men and women are earning their livelihood from this practice. Before we continue, you might be wondering what sex tourism really means. Well, sex tourism refers to the practice of traveling to foreign countries, often on a different continent, with the intention of engaging in sexual activity or relationships in exchange for money or lifestyle support. This practice predominantly operates in countries where sex work is legal or at least tolerated. The World Tourism Organization of the United Nations has acknowledged this industry is organized both within and outside the structured laws and networks created by them. The truth is, this practice happens everywhere in the world, but some popular sex tourism destinations include Brazil, Thailand, Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, Greece, Barbados, and Cuba. Sex tourism in the Gambia is mainly grounded on the cheap labor of young Gambian men who have few economic opportunities. For many men, their bodies are the main capital they possess. Therefore, men will use their bodies for consumption by usually older female tourists from the global north. When trying to make sense of the sexual exchanges that take place in the Gambia, it is important to understand that the sex tourism is more than the simple exchange of money for sexual services. Kempedu's concept of transactional sex and Kabizo's concept of tactical sex help us to understand sex tourism in the Gambia further. Whilst there are some men and women who describe themselves as prostitutes in the Gambia, whereby there is a clear and evident transactional relationship between the tourist and the host, most Gambian men can be described as using tactical sex as a means of income generation. Gambian men use tactical sex to obtain economic exchanges with Western female tourists in order to obtain gifts, money, remittances, and perhaps marriage and a visa to migrate to Europe. In contrast to the female sex tourist, who likely views the relationship as romantic in some way, the Gambian man views their engagement in sexual economies as a form of labor that provides them with an income. Very often they are proud to say that they are self-employed individuals working to make a living for themselves and their families. Above and beyond their immediate objective to get access to financial resources, the young Gambian man's long-term goal is often to get visa sponsorship so that they can migrate to Europe in search of a better life. Who travels to the Gambia for sex tourism? It is typically Western older women from Europe and America who engage in sex tourism in the Gambia. These women are most commonly from the United Kingdom, Germany, France, just to mention a few, and are aged 40 and above. Many women who engage in sex tourism in the Gambia have had failed marriages in their home country and are looking for a bit of late-life romance. There are many stories of said women on various media outlets. This article in The Sun describes one sex tourist as a horny granny grinds against her Gambian toy boy at the bar, their Zimmer frame screeching back and forth with every thrust. Another article in the Times has the headline "Gambia is a Tinder dream for geriatric sex tourists." It seems that women traveling to the Gambia has gotten a bit of a name for themselves. Gambian bumsters and their role in sex tourism. Very often the Gambian men who engage in tourism's effective sexual economies are seen combing the beach looking for engagement with a potential tourist or other. Some also serve as taxi drivers and often wait by the beachside looking for potential tourist clients in need of transportation. Both Gambian men and women frequent many restaurants, bars, and nightclubs located in the Kololi Beach area, a site designed for tourism activities, looking to engage in a potential relationship with tourists. The Gambian state sees these men, often referred to as bumsters, as a nuisance because they allegedly are doing nothing more than harassing tourists. This brings a set of negative guest/host interactions. This leads the state to act very aggressively towards Gambians involved in the sexual economy by arbitrarily arresting them and taking them into labor camps, where those wearing dreadlocks are shaved off by the military. Rather than being a tourist-harassing nuisance, however, these men are in fact actors and agents of the Gambia's tourism industry. The men provide services to tourists who visit the country with a specific demand in mind. They contribute a great deal to the tourism industry and have a positive economic impact of tourism. Gambians' reactions to sex tourism. As the Gambia image has a dark color as heaven for European sex tourists, this was followed by various reactions to the said statement as the Gambia Tourism Board saying, what they want is quality tourists. Tourists that come to enjoy the country and the culture, but not tourists that come just for sex. The statement, as published in various news outlets, has caused murmuring around the corridor of tourism, as it does not go down well with many people, and has attracted various comments as the debate continues. The statement was made shortly after the Tourism Board visited the UK, and they urged the UK government to lend a hand in restricting their old people from visiting the Gambia for sexual purposes. However, the board is said to be taking steps hoping to clean up the Gambia's image for a more honored one, and the board seeks to introduce laws that will mitigate the trend by allowing police officials to arrest anyone suspected of the act. Meanwhile, some Gambians have made different comments on the issue, with contradictions that these white tourist ladies have helped change the lives of many young people in the tourism area. That it is not easy to ascertain which tourist comes to the country for sexual pleasure, and stopping those tourists from coming into the country will make those boys in the industry suffer. Some Gambians, bumsters, said that because the country is tough from all angles with no gain or support from the government, they have no choice but to result in what is available. Notwithstanding, better and more precise words should have been used to close the door against the old grannies if not wanted in the country, rather than spitting on their face direct, just as the Director General of the GT Board did. But the debate is still open. Both GT Board and citizens both have points to prove over the issue. But one thing well noted, Destination Gambia is not a sex tourism destination. To conclude, we are in no position to tell people how to live their lives, but one thing we know for sure is that Gambia is a beautiful country with a lot to explore and amazing things to do, and is definitely one country that should be on your bucket list of countries to visit.